Hello, everyone. I hope all of you can see my screen and my voice is also audible to all of you. Just type in yes in the chat box. All right, great. So today's webinar is on advanced research methodology, and one of you have asked that whether it's going to be interactive session or just a class. So yes, this is going to be an interactive session. And in case you have prepared your topic and you have finalized your proposal, so you can also work along with me, and by the end of these webinar series you would be able to complete your research methodology chapter and your data analysis chapter as well. So in these webinar series we are going to discuss about how you have to write your research methodology chapter and what all things are there which you need to consider, or what are the points that you need to take care when you are writing or when you are finalizing any methodology for your research. So I'm starting with the PPT. I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know if that is visible to all of you. You can write your questions in the chat box, and after every topic, once I finish, I'm going to reply to your questions as well. All right, so this PPT screen is visible to all of you. Okay, by end of this webinar, we are going to share this PPT also with you. And in case you have any particular questions regarding your own research, you can write down in the chat box. I will answer those questions. If in case you want to discuss in detail, you can mail to us as well, and we will get in touch with you. Okay, before this RM training, I have also given one training on conceptual and theoretical frameworks. So that is required for this one. For that, you can refer to the YouTube channel and you can have that webinar from there. Uh, all right, so we will start. So in this webinar today, we are going to cover these topics, which talks about the introduction of RM. Then what are the research strategies which we follow for our research? What is the research design that is being followed? What are the research paradigms, and what is the research approach? So basically, if you have noticed any thesis, any completed thesis or published one, you will see that all the steps, all the topics which I have mentioned are also covered in your RM chapter. So if you are clear with all these terms, all these methods, you are definitely going to finalize your research methodology chapter as well. The first term, which I feel is important, is research method versus methodology. I know that this is very simple term and all of you must be aware about these terms. But again, a lot of people, a lot of scholars confuse between these two terms as they sound similar. And also, if I talk in layman language, so meaning is also similar. But when we talk in research terms, so they have a separate meaning. And the meaning is that methodology, when we talk about research methodology, we talk about the process which we are going to follow for our research. Whereas when I talk about, so when we talk about research methods, we are going to talk about the techniques which are adopted by researchers for conducting the research. So the first one, which when we start writing our research methodology chapter, so the first thing which we write is the introduction about the research methodology. So when we are talking about research methodology, we need to be clear on these 3 points. First is, whenever we are talking about research method, we need to consider that it is basically a formula which describes that how we are doing our research. So whenever we are writing our chapter, we need to write all the things in detail, and we have to explain it well, that how we have conducted our research. Second thing is, whatever research method we are finalizing for our research, that should be adequate, and that should be suitable as per our research questions and research objectives. Because obviously further, your study is going to be replicated, or maybe uh, when any reader is reading your research, they should get some quality information from your work. So just to maintain that, you have to select the good methods for your research. And thirdly, it should allow your readers to understand that how you have conducted your research. So it has to be well explained. Let's say you have chosen any method, so you have to justify that why you have selected a particular method for your research, which I think gives a very transparent view to the reader. So if your reader is very much clear about how you have conducted, which methods you have followed, how you have collected the data, I think that gives more confidence to the user, and your research becomes a very high quality research. So when you are starting with your research, you need to consider these 3 points in your mind. Next is, what is the research strategy? Which research strategy we need to follow? So even if you see, when you are writing your research methodology chapter, you need to write the research methodology which you are following. Now, what is research methodology? Research strategy. Um, Basically, it helps in determining that what is the entire plan you are following for your study, how you are planning that your study should be conducted, uh, and how you are going to decide on this. Basically, you need a research question and your research objective. I hope that all of you have cleared your topic in proposal stage by now. So if you have your topic, your research question and your research objectives in front of you, that you can open, and we can finalize, like by end of this session, you would be able to finalize at least on these points which is mentioned on the screen. You would be able to finalize like which strategy you need to follow, which method you need to follow, which approach you need to follow. So if you have that, you can open it. Now, basically, when we talk about research strategy, we are talking about that which method, which paradigm, which design, which data collection technique, and which approach we are using. And how we need to decide on this part is basically dependent upon your research question and your research objectives. Now, first comes the research design. It helps, what is basically a research design? So it talks about three things, which is how you are collecting your data, how you are evaluating your data, and how you are going to analyze it. I think my screen is not shared. Just a minute. Is my screen visible to all of you? Is my screen visible to all of you now? All right. So I will just repeat what I have covered. I think it's two or three slides is missed because of this. Okay. All right. Okay, so I hope it's clear till here that what is the difference between research method and methodology. Just type in the chat box. I am able to see that. Okay, then introduction part is clear to everyone. Which things you need to consider in your introduction whenever you are writing your research methodology. All right, all right. Okay, okay. I will repeat this. So basically, whenever we are talking about the research methodology, basically we need to keep in mind that why we are developing this research methodology. So there are three things, three points which you need to consider. One is that you need to consider your research method, the research steps which you are taking as a formula that describes your way of doing research. So how you are conducting your research, that should be very, very clear, and you have to write in that way that you are explaining your research. Second is, whenever you are considering any method for your research, that should be well justified. That uh, uh, let's take a very simple example, which I think is understood by everyone. Let's say I'm doing any quantitative research, so I need to justify that why I am doing a quantitative research. I can also go for qualitative research, but why I'm selecting quantitative, that should be well justified, and it should be according to the objectives also. So whenever I am writing my research methods, it should be well written, it should be well justified, and all the methods which you are writing should allow even readers to understand that why you have selected any particular method, because this gives transparency to the reader. Whenever we are writing any research methodology, we are either writing for the thesis part, or we are writing for some research papers, and we obviously want, like, we as a researcher want that our research should be the good one or should be high quality. So what makes a research a good one or a high quality research is just your research methodology part. If you talk about all empirical studies, all management related studies. So I think research methodology is the heart of it. So if you are developing your research methodology well, that means you are doing a good research. So three things you need to consider whenever we are starting with the research methodology part. All right, people who have joined in late, we have just started with the PPT as of now, and we have covered this introduction part. The main part I'm going to start now. Okay, so once we know that how we are going to do our research, first thing is the research strategy. Like, which strategy I am going to follow for my entire research, I need to decide that before, which includes these points which I have written, like what is the research method, what is the research paradigm I have to follow, which research design I have to follow for my research, then what is the data collection technique I'm going to use for my work, which approach I am using. So basically, when we are talking about all the strategies, we need to finalize on these parts. And how do you finalize on this part is basis on your research questions and your research objectives. First thing is research design. So this is one important thing which you need to finalize whenever we are talking about research methodology. So what research design basically is, it talks about three things: how you are going to collect your data, how you are going to measure it, and how you are going to analyze it. So uh, basically, if I talk about in research terms, so you have to see that when you have to collect data, what is that data which you are looking for, from where you want to collect that data, how you are going to collect it. So basically, when you consider your data part, you would be able to answer which research design you follow. Or there are three simple questions which you need to ask yourself. First is, what is the research question of your study? Every one of you is, I hope, working on your PhD researches, and every one of you must have finalized your topic and your research question and research objectives by now. So you need to check that what is your research question. Second is, what is the underlying philosophy of your research? Like, by your topic, what exactly you wanted to do? Do you want to conduct a new study? Do you want to fill any existing knowledge gap? Do you want to solve any kind of existing problem from the society? Do you want to extend any study? What exactly is the philosophy of your research? That you need to find out. And then third is, what is your preference and what is your skill? Like, how much data you would be able to collect? Are you able to collect data from entire India? Are you able to collect data from, let's say, 500 people? So you need to decide on your preferences and your skills, your ability to collect that data. And if you have answers for these three questions, definitely you are going to decide on your research design. So let me just explain this using one very simple example. Okay, so this example I have taken from management domain, which is from marketing background. I know I have not been able to cover the topics from all the domains since I have a limitation of time, and I cannot explain all the topics in detail, let's say technical topics or scientific domains or literature, law domains. So I have taken this because I thought this is very simple example and everyone can understand this thing. But if you have certain specific questions related to your domain, and if you think that you cannot relate your topic to this one, you can obviously ask me in the chat box, or maybe if majority of you are asking for a common domain, maybe I will try to take that up in my next session. Okay, so for now, I appreciate if all of you can have a read of this topic and research questions once. So basically, this topic is all about how a customer-based brand equity is influencing the buying behavior, and we have covered convenience goods with special. Like the domain, the population is in the Kerala market. So the research questions, if you have read, and if I have to summarize all the 5 research questions, so they basically talk about what is the relationship between a customer based brand equity and the buying behavior. So all the questions are pertaining to that. Now, I also want you to go through these objectives as well. Now, if you read these objectives and if you relate back to the research questions, you will see that the objectives and the questions are similar. So please have a read on these questions, these objectives as well. Okay, questions. Let me read some questions in between. Meanwhile, you are going through the objectives. Uh, Mr. Ramesh is asking how to determine sample and population size. I will cover that probably in my next session on next Saturday. I will cover this. So we are actually the purpose of this webinar is to go step by step. So I will definitely cover this point in my next webinar. Okay, so I hope you have read the objectives. So basically, all the objectives are also talking about assessing the relationship between the customer-based brand equity and the buying behavior, and all the objectives are basically related to that. Now, I will show you the variables, like how we are going to work on these objectives. What I did is I have identified few variables from the literature review, and the variables are on brand equity and the buying behavior, because these two are the constructs or the main variables, main factors on which my study is based on. So I'm studying about two things. One is brand equity, the other one is buying behavior. So I have identified these variables from literature review. Then using these variables, I have formulated these research hypotheses. And basis on these research hypotheses, I have formulated this conceptual framework. Now, if you want this, like you want to understand this in detail, that how the hypotheses are created and how the conceptual framework is created, you can refer to my one of my last webinars, which I have covered. And in that webinar, I have covered in detail that how you have to develop a theoretical framework, how you have to develop a conceptual framework, what are the steps that you need to follow. So for that thing, you can refer, and that is generally a part of our literature review chapter. So these things, when you start working on your RM chapter, you should have these things before starting it. So now, basis on these things, now we understood our example topic, our research questions and the objectives. Now I have to finalize that which of the research design is suitable for my research for that example. Now, when I talk about research design, we generally classify research designs into two parts. One is the exploratory research design, the other one is conclusive research design. To make it very, very simple for you, we'll just go by the words that exploratory research design talks about the researches wherein we are exploring something, we are finding something new, which we do not know in the beginning of our research. Whereas in conclusive research designs, we are concluding something, we are working on some facts, some data which we know it can be. Further, if I talk about these designs, exploratory can be divided, further divided into experimental research design, and conclusive can further divided into descriptive and causal research design. So I hope all of you understands the meaning of these terms, and a lot of information is already being provided on these research designs. Now, the question here is how we will finalize that which of the research design is going to be suitable, or it's best suited for my research. So a key like tip here is exploratory always talks about exploring, and it seems that it is more qualitative in nature. whereas the conclusive research designs are more quantitative in nature. Okay, so if you have to explore something, you have to experiment something, you need to find out new things, definitely you can go for the exploratory designs or the experimental designs. Experimental is generally being used in science researches, wherein you are going to experiment on something. In management, we can call experimental research designs when we have certain hypotheses, we have a conceptual framework, and we need to see that what kind of relationships are there between the variables. So there also we can use experimental. The other one is conclusive. We talk about conclusive research designs when we are talking about quantitative researches, and the most common conclusive research design which we follow is the descriptive research design, wherein we are talking about uh, we are intending to use some statistical methods, and we have hypotheses. We need to test those hypotheses. So now, basis on this information, you need to tell me that for this topic, which we already seen, we have seen the research questions and we have seen the research objectives. Now, you have to tell me that which of the research design among this is suitable. So I'm launching a poll for this, and I expect your answers. So I have launched the poll. You can reply. You can let me know that whether I'm going to use experimental research design or a descriptive or a causal. Which of the design is suitable for this kind of a research? I'm going to take some questions here in between. Okay, so if you need to finalize your research variables, obviously you need to go through the literature review. You need to do a review of at least, I think, 50 to 100 references, and then you would be able to finalize on the variables part. Case study research design is generally, we are going to cover that in the qualitative section also, and this is limited to very few of the domains. So majorly we are talking about experimental or descriptive in case we are referring to any of the management or social science research. But if you are using specifically a case study design, like you are completely reliable on case study, you can use case study research design as well. But I think that you can classify under qualitative only. It is not, it is not mandatory to mention in your research that whether your research is a basic research or a applied research. Generally, for all the universities, like for majority of the universities of India, and even for outside India as well, if you are considering all these points which I have mentioned, or which we will discuss today, if you're discussing about all these points, I think you would be able to develop a good literature, good RM chapter. No, whenever you are, if you have already mentioned your research gap in the literature review section, you do not need to mention that again whenever you are explaining about the hypothesis, because research gap is basically that what is the gap you identified in your study and why you have chosen a particular topic. So that part is completed. Now, since you have chosen one topic and you have to conduct a research on it, so hypothesis is one part of it. So I do not think that research gap and hypothesis are two related things. You can even skip whenever you are writing about hypothesis, but yes, you have to mention your research gap in your LR chapter. That is mandatory. And its effect. I am not clear with this one. Case study for studying leadership culture and its effect on organization success under qualitative research. I think this is a topic of research. I wanted to know like what question you have on this topic. Okay, there is a question from Carolyn. I have four very clear independent variables with 8 statements each. Does it mean the dependent variable must have 8 statements as well? Can I have more segments under the dependent variable? I believe that you are considering statements as the sub items of your questionnaire. I am considering that. I am not sure. So if you are having, let's say, 8 statements in your independent variables question, it is not mandatory that you should have a same number of statements in your dependent variable as well. The purpose is just that whatever amount of statements you are taking, it should justify your variable. That's the point here. If you are getting like your objectives well, you're getting the answers for your objectives, you do not need to add more statements. It's just that your objectives should be fulfilled. I'm going to tell you the answer for poll. I'm just waiting for all of you. I think only 70% of the people have voted. I'm expecting all others also to vote for this answer. Okay, is single case study method is appropriate for studying leadership culture? It depends on your objectives, what objectives you have formulated for your research. So it depends on that. Okay, all the questions are done. Okay, so 54% of people have voted for experimental research design, 25% have voted for descriptive research design, and 21 have voted for causal. So definitely this is not going to be a causal research, because we are not going to check any cause and effect relationship. It This research can be a combination of experimental research design as well as the descriptive research design. So this research, as per the objectives and as per the research questions we have, it could be a combination of experimental research design and descriptive research design. When I say experimental, this covers descriptive. So whoever is voted for experimental research design are correct. Because we are going to talk about the conceptual framework, we are talk about how the variables are related, and we don't as of now, I don't know that what kind of relationship these variables are sharing with each other. So even for me, that is something which is new. So a combination of experimental research and descriptive research design is applicable in this example. Okay, so I'm ending this polling. Let us move further. Okay, so the first step of my research methodology chapter is done. Uh, by now, we have identified that which research design I'm going to follow. Now, next one, which I'm going to decide on is the research paradigm. So now what basically is research paradigm? It is a set of common beliefs and agreements which is shared between the scientists about how problems should be understood and addressed. So this is a bookish definition, but if I have to explain you that how you have to choose this paradigm for your research, so you can consider this diagram. Um, so how this flows is, let's say you are conducting a research. So the purpose of doing your research could be either to fill the knowledge gap, or your study is a problem solving study, if maybe you are targeting any problem. So let us assume that your study, your topic is filling the knowledge gap. uh, Generally we see topics which are filling the knowledge gaps are tend to be more on the positivism side. And if your topic, if your study is more about solving some problems, so you tend to be more on the interpretivism side. So these are the two paradigms which we have. Now, how to check, even how to check that your study is more positivism or it's interpretivism? So again, a trick here is, if your study is quantitative in nature, it will be a positivism paradigm. And if your study is qualitative in nature, then it would be interpretivism. So basically, when we talk about positivism, we talk about more objectivity and validity of the research, and we need to support that research with some objectives and with statistical data. So if we have statistical data, some facts, some figures, some information which is a real and which is a valid information, then you can consider your research as positivism. If your study is more about, again, I'm going to refer that exploratory research design. If your study is more exploratory in nature, more qualitative in nature, you have to talk to few people, you have to observe them, then your study would be considered as interpretivism. So if it is quantitative, it is positivism. If it is qualitative, it is interpretivism. Now, again, my question for all of you would be, the topic which we are considering here, now which paradigm is being followed in this example? I'm running a second poll here. Yes. It's there. You can answer that whether this study is going to follow that positivist paradigm or interpretivism. Mhm. If you have your own research questions, or if you have your own study, you can even finalize right now for your own studies. And if you are confused, you can ask me right now. I'm again opening my chat box to answer your queries. Meanwhile, you can vote in the polling section. Okay, so the question is from Mr. Rafiq. If one intends to measure the effectiveness of professional development in an institution, which method should be used? So, if you want to measure the effectiveness of professional development, I am considering that you are collecting your data, your information from the professors of that particular institution or from the students. So if in case, let's say you are collecting the information from the professors of that institution, I believe you would be using an open ended questionnaire, which is again a qualitative research. So in that case, you would have a interpretivism paradigm, or you can even have a mixed one. If you are using quantitative plus qualitative both approaches, then you can even have a mixed approach, mixed paradigm. Okay, I can see for the poll, 56% of the people have voted for interpretivism. Now, I am not sure that how you people are considering this as interpretivism. So I want at least few of you to write your justification in the chat box so that I can also understand your viewpoint, like why you are considering it as interpretivism. I'm waiting for the justifications to be written in the chat box. At least few justifications that why you guys think that this would be an interpretivism approach, because as discussed before, all the research questions and all the research objectives are majorly focusing on the quantitative part. So I consider this as a positivism approach. I do not know that why like majority of you have considered as interpretivism. I just want a brief answer for this question, a one line maybe justification that why it is interpretivism. Okay, so for few, it looks like if we are studying on a buying behavior, it seems a qualitative study, but we have already identified those variables. So whenever we are going to collect data, we are going to collect data on those on basis of those variables. So we have designed a proper questionnaire for that, and I have even showed the conceptual framework. So definitely this is going to be a quantitative research, and there is no question involved here for qualitative study. So this is 100% positivism paradigm which we need to follow here. Okay. Now, okay, one thing I think there is a confusion here that if a study is more exploratory, hence it should be interpretivism. Now you need to understand that if we are considering exploratory as we are exploring something new, we don't know what should be our, there is no assumptions we are making for our research. And there are some set, there are not some set objectives, or we are not sure on the outcome part. So that is what we are considering as completely exploratory research. But what and I think in that case, you can also call it as interpretivism, because we don't know what we are going to interpret. I don't know about that. So I am completely unaware at this stage that what is going to be my research outcome. That study, that kind of a studies, you can consider as exploratory as well as interpretivism. But here I know that I wanted to understand the influence of these, of one factor on the other factor, and I know that I can check that equity, brand equity, from these variables and buying behavior from these variables. Now I have to establish a relationship between the variables I have. So I already know that whether this is going to be a positive relationship or this is going to be a negative relationship. So I know these would be my probable answers, and definitely one of this would be my the ultimate answer for my research. So I know that this is going to be the answer. That is why I'm considering as experimental or descriptive. We can say, we can call it as descriptive also, and we can call it as experimental also, depending upon how you justify. I can justify because experimental I'm saying because I'm going to experiment on few variables and I'm going to test the relationships among them. I can even call it as descriptive. So there is not much difference. I can call experimental plus descriptive as well. But for positivism and interpretivism, definitely this is 100% positivism, because I'm not going to interpret something. I'm not going to observe some behaviors. I'm not going to do that. So this is 100% positivism approach I'm going to follow. Okay, so I think all the answers, all the questions are already answered by the support team. If you have any questions for the research design and for the research paradigms, you can ask here. Otherwise, I will move to the next topic. Okay, shall I move to the next topic then? There is no question at this stage. Okay, so next thing which we need to cover after finalizing my research design and my research paradigm. So the third point which I need to cover in my research methodology chapter is about the research approach. Which research approach I'm going to follow for my study. Okay, I'm closing the chat box for now. I will reopen once I complete this topic. So research approach basically talks about the plan, which include methods for your data collection, how you are going to analyze your data, and how you are going to interpret your data. So when we talk about these two regarding the research approaches, we talk about how we are going to collect the data, which we call it as data collection approach, and the other one is how we are going to analyze that data. So two things are involved in research process. First is the data collection approach. Now, I think this is very common and all of you understand this points that for data collection approach, we have three approaches for collecting the data. One is the quantitative, other one is qualitative, and the third one is mixed approach. I think this is very clear by the name that quantitative research approach is the one wherein some facts, some data is involved. Qualitative research approach is something which is open-ended. We have some kind of experiences, some kind of written information which cannot be quantified in numbers. And the mixed research approach is wherein we are following both the quantitative and qualitative researches. Now the point why I have covered this is we know that what is quantitative, we know what is qualitative approach, we know what is mixed approach. But when we start writing our research methodology chapter, 80% of the scholars mostly they ignore these points. They know if we talk them, like we talk to them and we ask them that what is quantitative, they do know about these things. But it is also mandatory for you to mention this in your research methodology chapter. And how you have to write it is under this heading, which calls data collection approach. Now, this is basically a very simple definitions of qualitative and quantitative research. If your study talks about understanding some kind of attitudes or experiences of the respondents, and you need to answer that why a particular respondent has chosen something that, and you wanted to know the reason behind it, or how a particular concept works. So basically, all these uh, the open-ended informations which we have, we generally cover it in qualitative methods, and all the measurable information data we have, that we consider in quantitative research approach. Now, the next thing which is to be covered in the research approach is your reasoning approach, which is again divided into three. One is first is inductive approach, second is deductive one, and the third is mixed approach. Okay, so inductive approach. Now, again, the trick here is if you are doing a qualitative research, the chances are more that your study is going to use an inductive approach. If you are using a quantitative research approach, then it must be a deductive approach. And if you are using quantitative plus qualitative, like mixed approach, so again, your reasoning approach should also be a mixed one. So again, the key is if qualitative, then inductive, if quantitative, then deductive. Now, the difference between these two approaches is your inductive approach means whenever you are doing a qualitative research, it is not related to any of your hypothesis. And what it does is just gathers the information, like whatever you are receiving from your respondents, whereas the deductive approach is basically related to your research hypothesis, then your observations, then you are deducing down your results. So uh, if you have to decide for your research, so simply you can say see that if your research is qualitative, it is inductive, if it is quantitative, then it is deductive. And if it is mixed, then obviously it will be a mixed approach, a combination of inductive plus deductive approach. Now, again, my question here is what kind of data collection approach we are considering in this topic, and what is the reasoning approach we are following here? So I have launched the third poll here. I will open that screen for you. Like for quantitative, you need to answer from here that whether it's a quantitative, qualitative, or mixed. Okay, so 60, okay, people are voting as of now. Almost 67%, 70% of you have voted, and approximately 65% of you are saying that it is a quantitative approach. So yes, that is correct. This is 100% quantitative approach we are following. Okay, and what research reasoning approach we are following? That for that also I'm running this next poll. which reasoning approach we need to follow in this case. So I'm going to the on that reasoning approach slide. So out of inductive, deductive, and mixed, which approach I'm going to follow in this case? Okay, so approximately 75% of you are saying it will be a deductive approach. 22 of you are saying inductive. I again wanted to understand that people who are voting for inductive approach, I want to understand that why you are considering this as inductive approach, because we clearly stated that this is going to be a quantitative research and we are not going to include any qualitative information here. So I just want your justifications for choosing inductive approach. You can write your justifications again in the chat box. The ones who have voted for inductive approach can write your justifications in the chat box that why you are considering this as inductive. What are study variables? Kindly explain with an example which variables you are you are referring here, like for the example which I have considered, or generally you are you are asking about the variables. Variables are basically those constructs on which your study is mainly focusing on. So for an example, maybe some of you can share your topic and I can tell you that these are the main constructs or main variables your study is focusing on. As I said in this example, let me go back. So as in this case, I have this topic, influence of customer based brand equity on buying behavior. So if you simply go through the topic, you can understand that my complete topic is actually focused on the two things, which is brand equity and the buying behavior. So these two are considered as the main constructs. So whenever I start working on my research, I'm going to study only about these two topics. I'm going to study that how those two variables, these two constructs are related. And the finding of like how I'm going to identify my variables is the next step, which I'm going to do using literature review. So to give you more clarity, I think you can share your topic, Mr. Gautam. If that is possible, I know that this is little confidential, that maybe for few of you it's not possible to share your topic, but if in case you have such thing that you cannot ask a particular question regarding your topic, you can email to us, which is our email ID is phdhelp@5vidya.com. So you can email your topics and your objectives. And if you have any kind of issues which you don't know which research design or which collection technique you need to follow, we will let you know about that. Okay, so there's a topic which talks about factors influencing retail investments in mutual funds. So, do you want me to tell you the variables on this topic, or what exactly I need to tell about this topic? Okay, so Nitin, your topic says determining the perception of generic drugs among doctors, pharmacists, and patients, a study in Haryana region. So this is clear that your respondent would be three. One is doctor, one is pharmacist, and the other one is patient. And whenever you are asking them questions, so your question should be more focused about the perceptions towards the generic drugs. So there is no a clear cut variable in this case, but yes, when you are developing your questionnaire for all the three set of respondents, so all your questions should talk about the perceptions regarding those generic drugs. So you can take some information about generic drugs, and you have to relate them in terms of doctors or in terms of pharmacists and patients. So I do not think that there is a clear cut variable which you need to study here, because you're just studying about the perception of different set of people. Okay, so all the questions which I'm getting is mostly related to the variables part, which I have already covered in my last webinar. That how you need to finalize on the variables and how you have to move forward with those variables. So all of you who have stuck up at this stage, I can see that most of you are asking questions regarding the dependent, independent, and the variables and how you have to identify that. So for that, you can refer to my last webinar, which I did on theoretical and conceptual framework. So there I have covered all these points, because this is basically a part of literature review section, which you guys are asking. And today we are covering about the research methodology. So with this, I think all the methods which we generally need to finalize for our research are done. We have uh, selected the research design. We have covered the research paradigms. We have covered the research approaches, how we are going to collect the data, and what is a reasoning approach for that. Till here, we have completed now. Now, in my next webinar, on which is scheduled for next Saturday, I'm going to cover that if you are supposingly if you are selecting a quantitative approach, so how you have to proceed further, and if you have selected a qualitative approach, then how you have to proceed further, how you have to prepare your questions again. But for that webinar, I want all of you to be very clear with your variables part and which type of study, like a quantitative or a qualitative or a mixed research you are doing. I want all of you to finalize at least at that front, so that you would be able to prepare your questionnaires, or which sort of questions you have to include in your questionnaire. You would be able to understand that more. Okay, so if you have any questions still here, till this data collection approach, you can ask in the chat box. Then we will wind up this session. How to determine title is basically you need to find out a research gap in your area, in your interested domain. You need to find out a research gap, and then you would be able to finalize the title. You can refer on our YouTube channel. The support team will give you the links for the last webinar. Any other questions still here? Okay, what is the research paradigm for the research objective of developing risk management framework? So again, I have a question here that what basically your research objectives are focusing on? Are you completely referring to a qualitative research? Are you just developing a framework, or are you assessing something before developing this framework as well? So I need to know your research objectives. Now, this is one question which I think should be for all of you. You do not have to hurry on this point, that if you have your topic, you just straight away need to finalize on your research paradigm or research design or research approach. You also need to know what is your research question and your research objective. So you do not have to take the decision basis on your title only. You also need to consider your research question and your research objectives, because maybe one of your research objective is quantitative in nature, but the other could be qualitative. We need to see all the objectives, then as a whole it is going to be a quantitative research or a qualitative research or a mixed approach. Basis on that, you need to finalize on this part. Sample size determination we will cover in our next session, which is, I think I will be covering that on next Saturday. Difference between conceptual and theoretical framework, again, you need to refer to that webinar, which I completed before. Okay, so the support team has shared that link for the last webinar, which was on conceptual and theoretical framework. So all of you who have questions regarding the variables, regarding the references, what is the difference between conceptual and theoretical framework, can refer to this webinar first. And if you still have some doubts on it, we will again connect on next Saturday and you can discuss with me. All right. So I hope all of you are clear with this, with these topics which we covered today. In my next webinar, which is scheduled for next Saturday, I will start with the questionnaires development and how you have to collect data, how you can prepare questionnaires, and how you can check the reliability of those questionnaires. Uh, so thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for connecting with us. I hope to see you all in my next webinar as well. Till then, you can work on this part, and if you have some queries, questions, any clarifications you want from my end, so we can again discuss that on next Saturday. So thank you very much.